Everyone feeling good? Feeling great?
Yeah. Almost never.
Thomas,
But here we are.
You're just a bright ray of sunshine in my life.
You already told me I look like shit, so whatever.
Your faux hawk is just doing something today. You got poofy hair. That's why I wear a hat on these.
I just got out of the shower. I don't know.
Yeah, tell us less. We're back. Another episode of the List Night Podcast. Thomas is pissed at how quickly I jumped into the intro. I'm sure he had someone he was going to fire off, but we're not going to hear it now. Joined again by Andrew and Thomas, the guys that are usually on the show. Also joined today by Elliott, probably our biggest fan, or at least top 3 biggest fan. He's got
the only fan that has their own Twitter account. Like, I'm the first fan.
That's not true. You're not the only fan with a Twitter account. Actually, I was going to say he's one of our fan accounts. We have another fan. There's List Night Commentator who hasn't spoken to us since February.
Since I think the first episode.
Has never commentated.
Yeah.
He or she got very excited to make the account and then has been silent for about 10 months.
I think
and if you know.
Part of if you know, you know. Part of the issue is confusion from he or she on the difference between commenting and commentating. I think that they thought they were going to be part of List Night, and instead they can just comment on our YouTube videos and tweet at us, and that wasn't doing it for him. But regardless, Elliott, glad to have you here. Last time we had a guest on, they won. They got the most votes. Matt Ferentinos, he crushed it. So that's what you're competing against. You have to win, or you're worse in every way than Matt Ferentinos. So best of luck to you.
All right. Thank you. You've never wished luck to any of them before, so I feel like I'm going to step up.
I will never wish them good luck. Why would I want them to have good luck?
You'd be scared if I had luck.
Yeah. Someone want to remind me what we're doing this week? Sports rules? Something about sports. Sports is part of it. I forgot. I think sports rules that we could change, if we could change any rules in sports, didn't set a criteria on, as always, on which sports. It could be any sports. It could be, esports. It could be drinking sports. I don't know. We might go in weird directions with it. I think this is probably going to be a pretty uneventful list. It's probably going to end up being 5 different team sports for all of us. I don't think any of us are all that creative. But now that I've shit on us for a while, let's get into it. Our order this week, it's going to be Thomas, then Elliott, then me, and then last is going to be Andrew. Thomas, before you get sick of us, it's all you, man.
Not once have you ever played for the New York Knicks.
Is this a New York Knicks shirt?
That's what it says.
It's a New York Knicks. I think it's like a lawyers league or something. I don't even know whose shirt this is. I'm not a lawyer. I don't live in New York, and I've never played rec basketball for a New York.
Do you just wear random people's shirts?
I just wear random people's shirts, yeah.
You look like you're a person who's never seen a sport, and you went to the thrift store because you got invited to like a sports-themed party, and you're like, 1 sports apparel, please. And they give you that.
And they gave me a lawyers league, rec league penny.
You got invited to Buffalo Wild Wings for happy hour, and you were like, I sport.
Yeah. I sure do love that ball game that you guys play. Yeah. All right. Now that
okay, I'm gonna go.
So I shit on the pod, and now you shit on me. So
if you're done, I'm gonna go.
Done.
All right. So I made this list a long time ago. Spent a lot of time on it. So we're gonna get right into it. My number 5 is with baseball. I guess predominantly the MLB, because it'd be a little dangerous for not professionals. And so my rule would be that the warning track at every stadium has to be something else than dirt. Preferably, and my 2 ideas right now are either trampolines or a moat. The stadium can decide what they want to do. Okay, so it's up to each stadium to decide, and there can be other categories, but the 2 I have is that warning tracks have to be either trampolines or a moat. That's what I'm thinking.
So Andrew, I'm gonna let you go. I'm stunned.
Just real quickly, I mean, this is impressing me quite a bit. This pick, I mean, a moat would be funny, but a trampoline would be amazing.
A trampoline would be hilarious. A moat would be like potentially fatal.
I mean,
But-
just imagine the home run robberies with the trampoline. That
Yeah.
I'm actually impressed with this pick. Wow.
This is-
I gotta,
On
this
the
is-
downside, imagine the injuries.
I gotta say, this is not the
Who cares?
direction. Not the direction that I went in. I'm just gonna say that ahead of time. This is already. It's just so much more extreme than my picks. This is like an X game version of baseball, which would make me watch the X Games. Elliot, what do you think?
This would get me to watch baseball, and I do not like watching baseball. But I don't know. I feel like I want to take off point. Like the trampoline's so good, the mode is so bad in comparison. Like why would anyone want?
Yeah, see, my thing was, so the trampoline, like Andrew said, probably a lot of steals of home run stealing, stopping that ball, as baseball players try to do. I get sports, but like super dangerous, and maybe you don't want to give the other team the same advantage you're getting. The moat does the opposite. Like you really can't steal a home run if a moat's in the way, because then you got to jump over the moat to the wall to catch it. Like you got to jump your start so much earlier to get it.
You could alternate moat trampoline across the entire warning track and just like switch it every 10
I don't think
feet,
they have that kind of technology.
Just
The
a
springs would rust.
deeply insane idea.
just to see the outfielders like go for a jump and then just splash in the water
in the
because they
water.
missed the
absolutely
trampoline.
wipe out. I feel like at a certain point, I mean, we're not even just like moats and trampolines. Like every ballpark, like you've got Fenway with the Green Monster. You got a trampoline at Coors in Colorado, and you've got a moat at the Monstrosity in Tampa. Like I don't know, you've got
Exactly.
different things going on depending on where you are.
I'd
This
be
is
on
an
board with the moat.
insane suggestion, and I am so on board with it.
I'd be on board with the
watch
moat.
other sports.
If there were sharks in the moat, I'd be on board.
So yeah, I was thinking that maybe in the Florida stadiums they show some, alligators, crocodiles. What's down there? Alligators.
Alligators.
Gators.
yeah.
Dude.
But then you got to worry about them getting on the field. You got to worry about feeding them.
I mean, that's just a nuance to the ballpark, though. I mean, at that point,
you're creating jobs.
if you're an MLB player
No,
and
his
you're
rule
in
was
the outfield and there's an alligator coming all the way from the warning track and you can't get away from it in time, maybe you shouldn't have been a pro athlete. That's what I'm going to say.
I just think alligators roaming the field is an additional. That's more than one rule change.
That's
The
you're
rule
right.
is
That's my number
warning
4.
track has to be different than dirt.
What a
All right,
segue.
so alligators
Yeah.
are out.
Well,
Alligators
see,
on trampolines, however.
alligators on the field make me think of like Donkey Kong's field in Mario Baseball. Now you're getting in a whole different category. But anyway, yeah, warning track should be either trampoline or moat, depending on the stadium. It's my number 5. So we can only get mediocre from here. My number 4, it's bowling, because I'm the only one who ever brings up bowling on this podcast.
It's true.
So I believe that I'm going with 2. I believe you should get 2 special balls throughout your round. Is it called a
Yes.
round? Okay, I don't know.
A round of bowling, I'd say so.
Your 10
Frame?
turns,
Frames.
Frames.
10 frames,
Yeah.
you should get 2 special balls. So that could be variety. Like it could be an extra, like not just weight differences. I'm talking like larger balls, maybe misshapen so they spin a different way. I don't know. I'm not a genius. I just come up with these things. But essentially,
kind of
2 special
genius.
balls.
Do you,
Once you use it, you can't use it again.
and you get to choose when you use it.
Yes.
Is it like a universal? Here's a new bowling rule. We're using these 2 special balls, or do you get to like bring your own ball?
I think you should be. I think in a professional setting, you bring your bowling ball, and then you bring 2. You bring 4, but you can only use 2. Depending on the situation. I don't know.
I mean, you've certainly got to provide your own special balls. They're not going to have them ready for you at the bowling alley. You got to.
Well.
You're bringing that from home.
That's true. They can't be responsible for that.
Okay. I don't know where to go with this. I'm gonna improve upon your pick. Okay.
Okay.
Two special balls, except one of them makes you at a disadvantage. So maybe one of them is like the size of like an apple, and the other one is a giant ball. I feel
See,
like that could switch up the strategy a little bit.
I did think about that. I did think about just making it like one larger than normal ball and the one like duck pin bowling ball, like a skee ball, that you either be like, oh, you're going for a strike, you got to use this to your opponent. So like you get two special balls, one's for you to use and one's for you to make them use.
Yeah, yeah, that'd be fun. The other thing I wanted to say is you so begrudgingly said that we never talk about bowling on this podcast. Yeah. You're the only one who brings it up. Do you want us to talk about bowling more?
Can I be honest? It upsets me how little I bowl. So it upsets me how little you guys talk about bowling.
But if we talked about bowling more, would you bowl more, or would you be more upset that you don't bowl?
I would bowl more because I want to make sure I'm the best bowler.
Interesting. There's a lot at play here. There's a lot of things that we're learning. It doesn't. It doesn't make sense. I'll say that off the bat. Andrew just said something. He said, I'll improve upon your idea. I don't think I can improve upon the ideas that you've had so far. They're genius. And I wish that you'd been around in the 1800s, we'll say, when most team sports had been developed, because you clearly have a brain for this that those people did not have. Every sport would be way cooler if you were around back then.
I do have a brain.
I don't feel like this is a fully developed rule. This is like a start of a concept. Like, ooh, what if bowling had special balls? That's not a rule to me.
Well, it's one rule. It's outside of standard bowling balls, you can use two special balls. He didn't say like, yeah, you can use them every turn. He said you can use them twice. That's a rule.
I guess.
Thomas, I'm on your side.
Thanks, Mom. It is just the beginning of an idea. I am, conceiving this idea. I've not birthed it yet, but I think when the PBA gets a hold of it, they're gonna help me, coach me along, and we're gonna get it into the league.
Yeah,
I can tell that you've worked on this for a very long time.
Yeah. This was not 5 minutes of work. Okay, number 3. I believe in swimming. If you're capable of it.
Like you don't think it's made up? What does that mean?
I've encountered a lot of people that don't believe in swimming. They don't think
it's impossible to float. You would just say,
yeah. I believe that in the sport of swimming, you should be able to, if you're in a position, grab the leg of the person in front of you and drag them back. But you can't touch the lane rope. But if you can get under there and grab them and give them a little yank to give you a little slingshot action, I don't see why you shouldn't be allowed to do that.
Is this on your list because you did it in high school?
I never pulled anyone back in a meet.
He just thought about it constantly.
You said, I wish I could. These people are faster than me. They're in front of me. If I could just pull them back.
Yeah, I thought about it. I just wasn't able to do it. Got short arms.
Yeah, I mean, nothing wrong with another contact sport.
Right?
I mostly just want to talk about the time that you ended up in the wrong lane in high school and then you stopped swimming mid-race because you got disqualified.
No, I did not get disqualified until I stopped, but I didn't know that rule.
Wait, explain, please, because I don't know this.
I was a 200 IM or whatever it was in high school, and I suck at backstroke. And I did my turn, and I ended up in the wrong lane, and I recognized it. But the rule is, if you swim back into your lane before you finish the lap, you're fine. I didn't know that. I was a casual swimmer. I stood up. Then you're disqualified because I touched the bottom.
Couple things here. First, you did your flip and you went fully under the lane rope into the next lane?
No one was in the lane. I was like in the last lane and the lane next to me was empty.
Got it. That was my next question. How was the person in that lane not aware of this happening? Were they so far ahead or so far behind, but you have said they were not there?
Usually during the backstroke, I was still with them. That's when I fell behind.
Sure. Probably the disqualifications didn't help.
But imagine if let's say you do your flip turn, you go into their lane, you pull them back, you swim back in yours, you're in first place.
Yeah, I actually have a question. Imagine.
Yeah. What's that?
What is the official, what happens if you do that? Do they have to, do they restart the whole race?
If you pull someone back?
Obviously you're going to get disqualified.
I don't know if anyone's ever done it. I didn't do any research.
Right, like don't like swimming is like a team thing, right? Like, couldn't you do that on like their best person?
Yeah, I guess if you had yeah, if like the two top swimmers on opposite teams and then next to one guy is on the other team to help his teammate, he could pull him back. And now I'm pretty mad Andrew never did that for me.
Yeah, that could bring in some interesting shake and bake type
Dynamics.
strategy into some NASCAR type strategy into swimming.
Unless the guy you're pulling is so good that he then grabs your teammate next to him, and then you got a chain and you're actually pulling your own teammate back.
I think we'd end up having some like relay teams where it's like 3 super talented swimmers and then one dude who's just like a fucking bruiser, and he's like
Yeah.
just
You
doing
get your enforcer.
everything in his power to just ruin someone else's swimming experience so that his team can get
Well,
laid.
so my original idea was to make Beaver, like the game Beaver,
Yeah.
into a rule, but I was like, I'm just creating a new sport. That's not what we're doing. So I just want swimming to have some contact.
Yeah, no,
It's
you're
not
3
a
for
bad
3
one.
so far with me. This is actually of the 3, this might be my favorite idea. I'd probably win some more races if this were the case. I don't have short arms.
Well, I can't wait to ruin it with this next pick.
Same.
I believe, and this
You
could
believe
go
in
in
swimming?
multiple sports. I do believe in swimming. This could go to multiple sports, but I'm gonna go with football because I feel like if I say it could go with any sport, you guys would be like, "That's not what we're doing." Anyway, I think along with the challenge flag, you should have a veto card, and you should be able to veto a not there's got to be rules like unnecessary roughness type stuff. Maybe you can't veto, but like a penalty or even like a play like a not a challenge per se, but like if they mark you short, you can veto it and be like, no, that's a first down, and you get one. Like challenges, you can't do it in the last 2 minutes, but maybe it's like a blue flag you throw.
So you just overrule whatever the ref said?
Yeah, but you only get like one.
Okay,
So
but
what if they're like, let's say there's like a pick 6 where they return it for a touchdown and the ref says touchdown.
Veto.
Can you veto?
Yeah.
Oh, veto.
Oh, but what's this?
Do you then get the ball back, or do they keep?
The other team
Could then veto
also
your
has a
veto?
veto card. They just veto
Okay, then
vetoed. But
That's not a
maybe
rule
now,
then.
But
No,
what
Maybe,
if,
it
what
is.
if
that's a rule that they have, and just anytime a coach does that, the other team just vetoes their veto.
Yeah, but then they lose a veto. So what if later on they need a veto? They're like, oh no,
right, just like
strategy.
a challenge. Like you some teams save it and then never end up using it, and
Yeah.
some teams use it early on because they think it's like a big opportune moment. You don't know.
so the only thing that I guess that the reason this rule is kind of okay, it's not, it's terrible, but the reason it's kind of okay is because you're saying that the other team can veto the first team's veto, which
Well,
might make which might make it a little strategic. You might say like, this is too big of a play to try to veto because then the other team's just going to cancel it out. Whereas if it's something like smaller, you might use your veto to get it, knowing that the other team will save their veto. It's stupid. I don't know why I'm trying to justify it. It's dumb.
Yeah, you're trying to say like he doesn't need you.
Yeah, no, it's you're right. Fuck
I'm
this
just
pick.
saying. Well,
I
my
veto
bowling
this
pick-
pick. Thomas new pick.
Well,
Yeah,
well,
Thomas
move
only
on.
gets 4 picks.
okay,
only gets
that
4
pick is
picks.
vetoed because that's a new rule. No, well, my bowling pick, I conceived. This pick is like I'm on the first date. We haven't conceived the idea yet. All right, we're still working on it. But as a starting, this is a rule I believe in. I believe in swimming. I believe in veto cards, democracy. Anyway, my number one, I think, and this is also football. I think overtime should not be the entire team on the field. I think it should be more like a open field showdown from NFL Street 2. Now in the game, it was either 1v1 or 2v2. I'd be willing to expand it to like 5-on-5, but no quarterback sneaks. But I think it should be limited players on the field and really get after it. And that should be the overtime.
So you're kind of switch. You're like your overtime rules are like what hockey's done, where hockey goes
Yes,
down to
yes.
3v3 and goalies.
Similar, yeah. But I think it should be like how it was. Like you start on like the 25, you get a shot, they got to answer. You get a shot, they got to answer.
Yeah, so like college football overtime rules. That's what I was gonna ask.
With
And like, yeah, and like, hey, maybe if you want to kick a field goal, your kicker has to be on the field the entire time. I don't know. We're still working out the kinks. But I don't think overtime should be the entire team, like a full roster, 11 guys on the field.
I think red zone subscriptions would go up even more than they're already at if that were the case.
They could.
Yeah.
Redbox, Red Zone. I don't care who sponsors.
Oh,
us,
there's some synergy there.
I feel like the reason in hockey that you like take off players is because that just makes it easier to score. Like no one wants to watch an overtime game of hockey where you don't score.
It speeds it up.
But NFL overtime games don't that doesn't drag on, and I don't see how this fixes a problem that exists. I do like the concept. I actually have one similar, but mine's way better. So. And even mine is only number 4 on my list.
It's lucky that you're next. Does it need to fix a problem though? I mean, no. I get what you're saying, but you can better the product without having an actually innate problem with the product.
I'll give you a hot take. There's too much football on a Sunday. There's too much football. I cannot watch football all day. I get very bored, and this would excite me more. I don't get very bored. I get pretty bored.
Now there's an entire extra week of
it.
Yeah. No one.
I guess that is a hot take in America.
Yeah.
Only in America. Nowhere.
You're gonna lose a lot of your football fans with that.
I don't have fans to lose.
Believe me.
You're my fan. You're this night's fan.
You got this night commentator.
The let Thomas win army was a real thing for about 3 weeks, and then you won once, and then they just disappeared because I don't know.
That's when we had our best viewership. When Thomas hadn't won it all yet, we were just doing numbers, and people were.
Everyone was like, "Is this going to be the week?"
Right. It was like the recurring thing. It was like the let Teddy win,
exactly.
saga.
Yeah.
Things
fell apart a little bit. Let me give you the recap, and then I'm going to sign off, and I'll talk to you guys later. Number 5. Number 5 is that the warning track in baseball stadiums should be either trampoline or moat. Number 4 is that in bowling, you should be given 2 special balls to use as you see fit. Number 3 is in swimming, you should be able to pour your opponent back. Number 2, again, I'm saying football, but it could be in even swimming, maybe. I don't know. You get a veto card. And number 1,
veto if someone pulls you back.
Well, are you swimming in football? I guess if you're in a moat, maybe there's moats in football now.
Sure. My number 1 is that we'll go specifically NFL overtime should be at most 6-on-6, as little as 2-on-2.
I feel like I don't hate the idea. There's definitely diminishing returns once you get below a certain number of people for as big as a football field is, where it would. I mean, if you've got a mobile quarterback, you're not gonna get stopped.
If you want me to get into it, I'll say this. You get 6-on-6. Maybe the offense is we're going to go 3 wide receivers, a quarterback, and a running back. Okay. And then they got, 1 lineman? Someone do that math for me. 2 linemen? Maybe the defense is we're going to go 3 linemen. Now the offense is oh, no, how do we block 3 guys?
I'm just saying
Gronk
there's a lot of strategy. And he blocks 2 of them.
He's half dead right now.
He is in a tough spot, yeah. Thomas, I'm going to be completely honest with you right now. This might be my favorite list that you've done outside of the obvious hot dog list.
Cheers.
I feel like there's a lot of good but half-baked ideas.
Oh yeah.
That's what sports are.
2 weeks, 2 weeks of prep instead of just 1 week working on this list. I feel like maybe you could have tightened it up a little bit. Just 1 extra week of prep.
If we went through sports rule books, I think we would be there's a lot of half-baked ideas in here.
That's
Elliot, you are correct that if I had more time, I could have done that. But I will be honest with you, if I had more time, I would not have done that.
He would have procrastinated. Yeah, no, honestly, your 5 through 2, I would have just completely flipped around. And then your number 1, I don't know where I would put it. But, overall, you went a little bit more gimmicky than I went. I think some of my rules on my list are more serious. But that's I respect it. I respect the creativity.
I don't remember this, but
more creative.
I used to have a shirt that said "I'm a fun guy" on it and had a mushroom on it. So I'm kind of a gimmicky fun guy, you know.
Wow.
Based on your attire today, clearly like gimmicky like shirts and hats, it's your thing.
Do baby.
Yeesh. Man, if you're only listening to the pod this week and you're not watching it, you were just missing out on Thomas's attire. It is worthwhile.
It's not that exciting.
You look like you went to like a Spencer's, bought the first two things you saw, and then walked out.
I didn't get a poster.
Okay, well, that would have been the third thing. All right, Elliott, let's move on to you. First list night appearance. Don't disappoint us.
All right. I'm excited. So my number 5 is actually a little bit similar to Thomas's number 5. I was thinking if I wanted to sub it out, but for some reason I didn't like write down any of my honorable mentions to sub out. So mine's about volleyball.
Let me stop you really quickly. If you sub something out, Thomas is going to hate on you for the rest of the episode. So it's good that
even if it's a great pick, I'm gonna shit on it.
He will be so angry about the idea of you changing a list at the start of the pod.
My list is here. It's written down. No changes.
I'm a traditionalist.
All right.
Number 5 is for about volleyball. So like when you think of volleyball, you think you're out in the sun and the sand, and you think about water, but there's no actual water in volleyball. So I want water introduced into volleyball. So my concept is like you take your volleyball court, but you're sort of floating in water, and then you have like sort of gaps in the court, so you could fall into the water potentially, but you can still keep playing. You just have to tread water, and you can like pass the ball and like try to hop out.
So your professional sports idea is like the few kids growing up that had pools in their backyards that had nets in those pools that just played volleyball on them.
Well, no, like most of it is like a normal court, but then there's also some water that you could fall into.
A normal beach volleyball court or a normal indoor volleyball court?
It would probably have to be indoor. Like you can't have sand suspended in the water.
I don't think you understand how like the Earth works.
So you're saying the entire court is like on raft, like a big raft or something in the middle of the sea?
Maybe, I don't know.
You're playing this on a battleship, and someone else is on another battleship.
I have like a diagram of what the court.
Of course, you have a diagram. Why wouldn't you have a diagram?
I don't know the logistics of how the things are floating. I want 4 platforms on each side with like an X water in the middle.
See what I was picturing, and I'm in. I'm sold already. What I was picturing is like a checkered or like a chessboard, and like a square of sand, square of water, square of sand. Not necessarily in that pattern, but like kind of like a square of water, a square of sand, a square of water, a square of sand.
Yeah,
but you're saying it's more like
how do you
water
think
going
ground
through.
works?
What do you mean?
Like
how are they?
I'm thinking,
like what?
I've worked on.
You would have like a pillar, maybe. Like it's not that deep, but it can be like a 10-foot pool with like a pillar.
We're not drowning people.
Right, that's not my issue is with the checkerboard description, where there are just vertical pieces of sand and then vertical like pools of water. Like I mean, like you have a volleyball court, right? And I need to see the diagram.
Yeah, we're gonna need to see that diagram
this
for
is
sure.
insane.
Okay,
I mean, just send it to us later. We'll post it on our Instagram story, and the fans can decide if it's dumb or not.
We'll post it with no context. To be clear, we will not say what it is.
My question is, when you first said it, I thought of it as just like a floating platform, like an aircraft carrier type situation, like station, like not a lot of movement from the water. But the way you described it, are you thinking more like a waterbed situation where like the current of the like it's...
No. The floor is solid.
Okay.
It's just some gaps with water in them that you could fall into.
I mean, I told you, I'm sold. I'm in.
So you're saying presumably like when the ball's on the other side of the net, there's time for you to lift yourself out of the water and get back on dry land.
Yeah, and like if the other team like hits the ball and your team shanks it, you'll have someone like dive into the water and like have to swim and then hit the ball back over.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. Yeah,
I'm in.
Yeah, yeah, like Tom said, this is definitely half baked, but it's got some.
I'm not on
intrigue
board on
and some
this
promise.
I think it's understand how this would be like a game of volleyball.
I mean, you can't play volleyball on like normal ground.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear this from you of all people. First off.
Griffin, I feel like
I just don't understand how
struggling
the
too much
game
on logistics.
continues moving at any reasonable rate. With
Have you ever
putter
stepped
on
in
the
a
court.
puddle but also hit a ball upwards?
Have you
Elliott.
seen how fast people play volleyball?
Yeah.
Elliott,
That would slow them down so much.
how many players on
And
each
they
side?
So it would be 4v4. Like you have one
See,
person
that
on each
changes it.
platform they can move. And it would just be called 4v4 volleyball. Like I like names that it would just be implied that 4v4 volleyball is obviously on the water.
So, oh no. Okay.
And so no one can play normal 4v4 volleyball at that point.
No, if you say like
you
if you
have
say
to,
we're gonna
you
play
have to
4v4
have this
volleyball.
weird watery court.
Yeah.
Is
I
the
mean, there
boundary-
is no 4v4 volleyball currently, so I'm on board with this.
Well, there's
Is the
there's like
boundary
beach leagues and
bigger
stuff.
than a normal
Yeah, that's
volleyball
2v2.
court?
No, it's 4v4.
No. The boundary of the like court area is the exact same size as a normal court.
I'm just thinking of how much water you could actually fit on a side of the volleyball court.
So there's not that much on the inside. There's like a little bit, but then the outside is
Mostly.
also. Yeah, 'cause, like, you
I was
play
more
out of the
for it
court,
being on
like
the
a-
inside. I was more for it for like just being on the inside.
My diagram's to scale, so when you see that, you'll like it.
Is it?
Yeah, I
Love
mean,
it. Love it.
how could it not be?
I didn't.
All right,
No
well-
one's ever made a diagram on this show, so a lot of things are happening right now.
Maybe we make them. We're just too nervous to show them because you always put us down.
Maybe. I am a
All right.
9-time winner.
I drew a veto
Um,
card.
So my number 4 is also a little similar to one Thomas's, but again, this is like fixes something that's dumb. So this is about soccer. The worst part about soccer is penalty kicks. Like penalty kicks are just dumb.
Agreed.
It doesn't represent the sport of soccer, and it's like so much luck. So the worst thing that happens is you're having like a really good competitive game, and it's like 2-2, and then like you're in overtime, and then no one can score, and then it's over, and they're like, oh, I guess we'll just kick the ball in the net and see which goalie dives correctly. Terrible, stupid. So my proposal is to replace penalty kicks with a 2v1. So you get 2 people on offense, 1 defender, and a goalie. And you have like 30 seconds to score. You start at like the 30-yard line or whatever, and you can do whatever you want and try to score from there. So it replaces like in-game penalty kicks, and at the end of the game you do that.
So
I
it's
feel
a
like
fast
we just
break.
lost all of our soccer fans.
Did I? Because I don't think anyone liked penalty kicks.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Oh, I don't know. I'm
Gained
not
some soccer fans.
soccer. I wouldn't say it's the worst part about soccer, but
It's not.
I don't
worse.
dislike the idea because like mine, I like the idea of like minimizing the players, like shortening less players.
That's
I
more
think
players, though.
this is the first pick tonight that I feel like is actually like a realistic change that could potentially be made, and I respect that. It seems like a pretty good idea. It seems like an idea that you didn't come up with on your own. Did you?
So sort of no. So I wanted field hockey in one of my things because I coached field hockey for many years, but field hockey is perfect, so there's not really any rules that need changed.
Insane big.
But they did change this rule in real life. So when you used to have like a penalty stroke, which was basically just a penalty kick, and they changed that to a 1v goalie. But a 1v goalie in soccer, like you're gonna score every time. Like I had it be a 2v1, and like when you're so.
Yeah, no,
Wait,
that's
is
cool.
is a 1v goalie just a penalty kick
Or a penalty shot, I guess.
shot?
Well, you like start farther out and dribble and stuff versus like the
So
ball.
it's
being-
like hockey.
So it's like
Yeah, exactly.
Gotcha. Okay, gotcha.
I mean, I think I agree with Andrew. I do like this idea. I don't agree that this is something that I would ever see being implemented just because of how insane soccer fans are and how much also like the history to the sport and just like the general unwillingness to change. Like there's a huge number of, and there's arguments good and bad, but there's a huge number of soccer teams and soccer leagues that don't have video review and refuse to implement video review because it's like not part of the sport. I think this would make the game objectively better. I think it would make it more fun, and I think it would take a luck component out of it. So I'm all for the rule change. I just don't know how reasonable it would be. I don't think it would catch on.
Well, we'll just have to see.
I don't think you should be allowed to hold a body part on the ground in soccer unless you're getting carried off on a stretcher.
Like
Is my
your
rule
own
for
body
soccer.
part.
I'm just, I'm one of those
God,
people
it's
who's
your
like,
sixth rule. You don't think
I'm-
someone
I'm-
should?
I'm-
You
I'm
don't
just
think they
saying-
should
I'm
fake
saying-
being
I'm
in
saying-
pain?
I'm
Is what
saying.
you're saying?
You want to
yeah,
get
I
rid
hate
of flopping.
it. And I know other
Yeah.
sports
Yeah.
do it too. I know other sports do it too. I'm not going to defend other sports.
No one
But I
does
hate
it
it.
worse. No one does it worse than soccer though. They are the best actors.
Can you please, Griffin, let Elliott have his time? It's his time for his number 3.
How's your sixth pick doing?
Not great. I mean, you know.
So number 3, this one is just sort of a personal thing. Is that it's called football. It's not called kickball. So there should just be no kicking in football whatsoever. Just eliminate all the things that are kicking. So kickoffs, none of that. Just get your quarterback, have him throw the ball as far as he can. Punts, no punts. Have your quarterback throw the ball as far as he can. Field goals, dumb as shit. Have your quarterback throw it through. You probably have to change to like a target versus like uprights, but no, have your quarterback throw it through.
Yeah, throw it through the uprights.
So
Best of luck.
I
Like, why do we need to pay like hundreds of thousands of dollars for someone whose only job is to occasionally come out and kick a ball?
How
Dumb.
little do you think kickers are paid?
I don't dislike
I don't
your
know.
description of have the quarterback throw the ball as far as they can. Your whole it's called football, not kickball. Why are they kicking? Why is it called football?
Well, I mean, yeah. Why did
Couldn't
it
just be
like,
throw ball?
removing the kicking? It still makes no sense to call it football.
Throw ball.
Yeah.
Yeah, just call it handball.
So
I know
Elliot,
it's already a thing, but just call it handball.
Elliot, I think that your intentions are good, but it's not going to eliminate the problem that you're trying to solve, which is that you apparently don't want to pay the guy on the team who makes like the least amount of money, even that little amount of money,
No.
because what's going to happen is teams are going to get specialized quarterbacks to do all the kicking type, plays. They're not going to have like their actual quarterback come in and throw it as hard as they can. They're just going to get someone with a giant cannon and no accuracy to do the kickoff. And they'll pay him a little bit of money.
Kevin Meekins. That's what he'll
So
do.
you're essentially going to get a kick. It's going to be a new position called like the thrower.
Well, that's what the quarterback.
quarterback.
The thrower.
Yeah. No, I know,
thrower.
but I'm saying, you know what I mean. He's not going to play. He's not going to play quarterback. He's just going to throw the ball after the team scores a touchdown.
Right.
I don't
Well, I mean-
usually like to agree with Andrew, but I think he's right.
But at least that person probably played football sometime in their life. Like the kickers are all failed soccer players.
I like
some are failed rugby
That's
players.
Not some are people that in high school decided, hey, I can make some money. I might as well learn how to do this thing.
Some people are Kevin Meekins' son, who was trained from young age.
He still is a young age, but fingers crossed. I like elements of the idea. I don't necessarily like the field goal aspect or like the extra point aspect of it, but I kind of like the aspect of it being like the punt. Instead of punting, you just have a dude with a monster arm just chuck it downfield and see what happens. I don't know why I like that better than the kick, but it just seems more interesting.
It works in backyard football. There's no reason it can't transition to the NFL.
Yeah. I also think, even though Thomas's list so far has, in my mind, been crushing yours, you're definitely going to get Cindy Queen's vote this week because that woman hates the shit out of kickers. I've never met somebody that thinks there's a more worthless position in sports than Cindy Queen feels about kickers. Yeah, hates them. She's going to hate Meeks' kid one day. Just be prepared for it.
I don't hate kickers. I don't have anything against kickers. And this is as someone who could not kick a field goal. I don't understand why they seem to be struggling so much all the time now.
Yeah. It is interesting.
It is. What I will say about kickers is it's almost like two different sports that they jammed into one. It's like football ran into this problem where the forward pass was not even a thing when the sport was invented. And then eventually it became the way to move the football. And then the kicking aspect literally just hung around. I remember seeing this video that talked about the early days of football, and so many teams thought it was more efficient to move the ball forward on offense by doing onside kicks than by throwing the ball forward. That's how crazy the sport was.
It used to be a penalty. Incomplete pass used to be a 10-yard penalty.
Yeah, I mean
that'll
do it. But
I think we should go back to that.
Yeah, it still seems like a better way to try to move the ball than an onside kick. But I digress. The point is the sport's a mess, and I because of the kicking and throwing and actual offense combination where we're at right now.
No, you guys are right. They should change the overtime to be like 6-on-6.
I don't even
Maybe
think he gets
2-point
us, man.
conversions too. I don't know. Let's start
it's like
somewhere.
he's not even listening to us.
I'm not. This isn't connected.
We're talking about you.
All right. Then I think I'll move on to my number 2 pick. This is probably something that they can't implement in real life, but I definitely want team MMA. So this one I have
This
sort
exists.
of 2 possibilities.
This exists.
It does exist.
Yeah,
Like,
there's like
multiple people in the
Dagestani
same
and-
ring at the
and-
same time.
Yep, there's Russian organizations.
Go to Russia.
Yeah.
Well, then I guess
can-
this doesn't count. So I'll
No,
stop
no,
talking.
I mean,
I only
you-
have 4 this week.
No.
No, it's fine. I mean,
Uh,
like, it's very, very niche. It's fine. It's a good pick.
Yeah,
I
they
just think,
found their
like,
fan.
One person fighting one person, fine, but like I want 3 people fighting 3 people at the same time.
I've seen videos of like one versus 3, but in a cage, gloves and everything, but it's still 1 versus 3.
No, I think 3v3, or maybe like this one I sort of have too. It's I could also do tag team like in WWE where like there's only 2 people in at a time, and if you start getting your ass kicked, you have to get yourself to the corner so your teammate can tag in.
I like
That
that.
I don't
think that's a
know
little
if it
bit more
exists.
practical.
I don't know if that
I like
exists.
that.
I would like that significantly more, and I am going to go off. You know, I have seen 2v2 and 3v3.
See, I figured that must
It's not
exist.
good.
Like
It's not.
like
It's awful. It's an awful product.
yeah, I would assume in reality it's bad.
The
So,
tag team
Elliot,
one is interesting. I
Tag
really
team I
wonder if like it
All right,
if-
cut the part where I say 3v3. Just
Just say
my
tag
pick is
team.
tag team. Yeah,
Would it-
Right.
I'm just imagining like a real fight though being like a staged professional wrestling fight where like the guy's like literally laying a foot from his
Yeah.
teammate and he can't like reach him and he
I-
just waits
I
for like
was-
5 minutes for the crowd to raise him up.
I was gonna say, if you take this tag team idea but put it in like a boxing ring with like some interesting costumes and like some quirky announcers and like some theme music entrance and like a story and I don't know, some entertainment. No, but I actually do like the tag team idea. My question for you though, in your 3v3 scenario, are they all
No,
the
we
same
cut that.
weight
That's not-
class?
Griffin cut this too.
I didn't cut it. I
vetoed
actually
it.
I like
No,
Thomas's
are-
question because I was going to ask it too.
Yeah, are they all the same
Can it
weight
be
class
mixed
or
weight?
yeah.
I think they all have to be in the same weight class because in my mind it's elimination also. So like your goal is to like knock one
Fight
person
till
out
they
as fast
die.
as possible, and then you have the numbers game.
Do we
Wait,
have
so you're
3 refs
tagging
that
them
ring?
in, and then you also
You
get
probably
to
need,
stay
like,
in
6
with them?
No.
So if you- if
this
you've
is-
already,
this
like,
is
knocked
3
one-
versus 3.
Oh, we're back on 3v3, which we're not supposed to be talking about though.
No, yeah.
Wait,
With
okay.
All of this.
No, I'm gonna continue talking about 3v3 and improve upon it. Okay, we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it like survivor style, or like how's it in WWE like elimination chamber or whatever.
Or
So
the
like
Rumble.
you just
right?
keep fighting until everyone gets knocked out, and if
Yeah,
you
yeah.
knock
Or
one,
like Marvel
if you
vs.
knock
Capcom,
someone out,
but real
then
life.
if you knock
What?
someone out, then it just becomes 3
Yeah,
on 2. And
what else could it possibly be? It can't be
But
first.
no, just wait. If you knock someone out, do they get dragged out of the ring, or if they regain consciousness, can they get back in the fight?
No, like once you're TKO'd, you got to get out. Like you would need like 6 reps in the ring at the same time to make sure no one dies.
I mean,
that's boring.
at this point, let's be very clear. Someone's going to die, and it's going to happen very early on in this sports life. If that's
Yeah.
the thing that's like stopping you from implementing certain rules, just all bets are off. People are going to die.
I'm sure people
I
said that
think
when
if you wake
MMA,
back up,
like,
if you've
first was
committed,
invented.
if you've committed to being an athlete in this sport, say I'm in this sport and Thomas knocks me the fuck out, and Elliott and Andrew and Thomas are all fighting, and I wake back up and I can sneak up behind Thomas and choke him out while my boy Andrew's fighting both of you, I say let it happen. I think I've earned the right
Agreed.
to get back into that fight.
Agreed.
Yeah.
so you're just gonna continue the WWE analogies. You're just gonna Undertaker your way out, like from the dead.
yeah. But with like way more head trauma. Way more.
And see, like, I would prefer if they're different weight classes, so like we could get like a whole big show Floyd Mayweather situation again. I think you mix it up. You get
Where
two
one guy
giants,
didn't know
two
that they were
average,
fighting,
two
and
little.
then the other one broke his nose.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
that situation.
Also, last thing I'll say, there should be trampolines and moats too.
I mean,
We
there's a
just
lot
toss
of
that
rules
into,
that can be
everyone's list,
implemented. The more
that's good, but
dangerous you
also
make
do
MMA,
trampolines
the
and
better it is, clearly. Give one guy a sword, but don't tell anybody which guy has it.
Okay, so
Or a
for
knife,
my
I don't
last
know.
one, this is also another one that does technically exist, I think, in like some form, but not in the professional league.
Sure.
So I want NBA to implement a 4-point shot. So I think like the Harlem Globetrotters have the 4-point shot. Andrew's shaking his head, but
I think three
people are taking shots from there anyway.
Where's there? Where's your line?
So I would probably have 3. So it's half court, like you have one ring at the half court, and then like the sort of deep cornery things.
Oh, they're all 4.
Yeah, it's like 6 feet additional out from the 3-point line. That are
So
each
basically,
worth
where
4
guys are currently shooting it from all the time now.
Yeah, like where Steph and Dame can hit from anyway.
You just called him Stephen?
Steph. I said
I think-
Steph.
He said Steph and
Stephen?
Dame.
Oh,
Okay.
Steph
Steph
and
and-
okay. All
yes.
right. All right.
I feel like it adds like a cool little element of like strategy to it, because like not everyone's gonna, like every team is even gonna have someone on the court who can shoot a 4-point shot. So some teams might just ignore it. Sometimes you have like, and you might just plant a guy over there, and you're like, he's gonna go over there and like open up the whole court and like open up driving lanes, and I just have a guy planted there, and then defensively you're like, okay, he's only like, is it even worth covering that guy? So I feel like it does add like a tactical aspect to the game. And I think the difference between a 4 and a 3-point shot's not that much that it's gonna like totally change the game.
Well, that's what people said about 3 and 2. And
Well, 3 and 2 is a lot bigger than 3 and 4.
Sure. This does exist.
That's simple math right there.
This does
Yeah.
exist. I thought it did, but I looked it
Slam
up.
ball.
The Big 3 League, the 3v3 league that Ice Cube, I think, is the owner of. They have a 4-point shot. I think they call it like their fireball zone or something like that. I want to say it's like 35 or 40 feet out, so it's definitely a good ways back from the 3-point line. And I don't know if it's like the entire area that's that far back out, or if there's like specific zones on the court. But I don't watch a lot of 3v3 basketball, so I don't know how often it gets used. I imagine in 3v3 it probably gets used more often because you have a lot less defensive coverage. Yeah, I'm down for rules that change the spacing in basketball, because I think the style of play right now is getting kind of boring.
Yeah, I agree with Griffin on that point. I guess this is a way to solve that problem in a way.
Maybe.
But
I
I
don't know
also
if it
fear it
does.
could just exacerbate the problem.
Yeah.
I'm gonna save most of my commentary because I touch on this a little bit in my list.
Here's how you solve the problem: more baskets.
Moats and trampolines too.
Like
That
instead of
is
just
a
one on
sport,
each
though.
side, it's one on each side, and then one on this side and one on that side. So there's 4.
Are they
So you have
are
a
they
right
moving?
angle
Are they
from
worth the
it.
same amount?
At first, not moving, but I'm sure in a couple years we'll put it in.
I mean, I definitely was considering, like, I wanted to do like 2 balls in a sport, but I couldn't actually think of any sport where that actually makes it better.
I thought about for baseball having 2 pitchers, like every other inning, you have 2 pitchers out there. Who has the ball?
Dude, your baseball rules are amazing.
So like have like a right-handed and a left-handed pitcher both face each other and then pitch the ball, like go through the pitching motion at the same time, and the ball only comes out of one of them.
Yeah.
I don't know if he thought that far into it. I think he was just like, yeah, 2 guys are up there on the mound, and maybe one of them's going to throw at you. Back to Thomas's list. Clearly, the kid knows baseball. Elliott, also, I like the idea. Maybe I like it in theory, but yeah, like Andrew said, as I think about it, like in practice, I think it's going to end up with just like every team having one dude whose all he does is shoot not threes, but I guess fours, and it ends up being a lot of guys just playing basically like half court basketball and just pulling up from deep. And like there goes the post game, there goes the mid range game, there goes a lot of the guys that are going to try and like shoot from three, like spacing.
The
really
mid range
weird.
game is already gone, but yeah,
right, which is a lot of my issues with current basketball. I don't know. I don't
Well,
think
if I
fixes it.
do
It's just
some
pulling
quick
guys out front.
calculations here. So if you're 50% to make a 2-point shot, that's 25% to make a 4-point shot. Those are equal.
That was some quick
that
calculation.
was fast math. Wow.
So like I don't know if it eliminates the mid range. Like how good are people at hitting shots that far away? Like are people hitting 30 or 40% from that far? I don't think so.
Some guys are, and if you incentivized it, which you are in this case, people would get better. I mean, the
that's
3-point
true.
revolution didn't really happen to a huge degree until like 2013, 2014, and then they saw guys like Steph and Dame and some of just the role players out the league, JJ Redick, Kyle Korver, guys pulling up from super deep, hitting them, and then every team completely changed the way they structured their offense and got rid of the mid-range game. Guys can hit from further. We've seen them hit from further. I mean, like you said, they've only got to hit 25% of the time for it to be worth it.
Yeah, I don't know.
I see
Something
it as
something
a
I'd toss around.
possibility. I see it as something that could actually happen, to be honest. But
Yeah, that's
don't
why I
know
put
if
it
I'm
at number 1.
for
This is
not
something
for
like
it.
could happen. It's like a
Yeah.
maybe.
yeah,
Yeah.
I feel you.
So Elliot, want to give your recap?
Yep. So number 1, we got 4v4 volleyball, aka volleyball on suspended platforms in the water. Soccer, penalty kicks turning into 2v1s. Number 3 is no kicking in football. It's called football, not kickball.
Still
Number
doesn't make
2
any sense,
is
but okay.
tag team MMA, just specifically tag team MMA. And then number 1 is NBA should add a 4-point shot.
I
Okay.
think your 5 is your best pick. I'm all for 4v4 volleyball. I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm in. Not to play, but to watch.
Yeah.
I want to play. I think like
Oh, I'll die.
Why?
Yeah, no.
You know how to
can't
swim and
swim,
you
I
know how
guess.
to play volleyball.
I'm not. Do I know how to play volleyball?
Well, you know how to I don't think you would like drown or anything. Or maybe you would. I don't know. I
I'd
don't
find
know
a
how to
way.
read you anymore. Yeah. Your athletic years are behind you. All right. Well, hey, I don't love your list as much as I love Thomas's because his was fucking insane and yours was fairly reasonable. But not bad for a first showing.
I
I'm
feel
gonna
like
tell you guys. Go ahead.
I feel like you say fairly reasonable. I feel like it really toes the line of reasonable and
Well,
kind
and two of his
It
things
is.
exist, so that
It's
is a big part.
towing the
Two-
line.
Two of his picks, his top 2 picks, do exist. So, like, someone determined that they were reasonable and was like, "I'm gonna make money off of this."
enough.
On to me. I hate to say it, but a much more boring list of like actual things that I want to happen in sports that I
So
think are
except for
all
Griffin.
fairly reasonable.
So should we tell them all to fast forward now, or
I mean, who's actually even listening to? Or
yeah,
watching this?
tell them what time to skip to.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know
Yeah.
what time we are in this.
For YouTube,
Oh,
we'll add a
we'll voice-
timestamp
we'll do a
to get to
voiceover.
my list, and then
Oh, okay,
Okay.
cool.
click that.
Cool. Yeah, we'll put a link down below. Then just click it to skip over, which generally we should probably do anyways, but it doesn't matter. Okay. Number 5 on my list. This one really is for all sports, but we'll say for football because I think it's the one where it probably comes up the most often. I think the rule book should encourage taunting rather than banning it. I think if you can't control your temper while you're in the midst of your job, when someone is shit talking you or has done something that like scoring on you or something like that, that's on you. That's not on them. I don't think they should be penalized for either talking shit to you after they make a big stop or you talking shit to them after you make a big play or something like that. And a huge part of sports is like mind games and fucking with your opponent and like the little things that we don't hear anyways on TV, like where they're shit talking each other in the huddle and stuff like that. Just let it happen. Let them taunt. Let them talk their shit. Let them, potentially start a fight. If you get dragged into a fight because somebody said some mean words to you, that's your fault. That's your problem. Like, I don't feel bad for you.
So
you go.
I feel like this might get a little dicey with like some language that could be used, like whether it's like racist or like just beyond the pale. Like that's the problem. I see where you're going with it. Like, and I get it. I guess so. Your rule change would just be eliminate the taunting penalty.
Yep.
That's
Just
the rule change.
Let them do it.
Yeah. I mean, like for the most part, I guess I agree. I think people.
If you say some like beyond the pale shit, like if you call somebody a racial slur or something like that, you're gonna have repercussions that extend beyond the field. So yes, you might not be penalized on the field for it, but your professional life and your personal life is gonna suffer because of it. So again, be a fucking adult instead of having a rule in there that tells you that you're gonna get in trouble if you do X, Y, or Z. Especially because so often it's misapplied. It's like somebody has like a brief celebration and then they're penalized for it. That's not fun.
You're saying let the market figure it out.
Yeah. Capitalism.
So I like this because I think it's ridiculous that you can't. Some of the things they call taunting. I think it should be adjusted though, where before the game, obviously you can taunt all you want. In game, you can only taunt if you were a part of the previous play. Like I don't want the cornerback on the other side of the field taunting for someone else getting a sack. That's what bothers me. Or I don't like the cornerback safeties taunting and puffing their chest when the quarterback threw a bad pass.
Right. I get what you're saying. I think if you're gonna be about it, you should have been about it. You can't just be like somebody on the sideline. You're not a fan. You're part of the team. I like
fan of the game.
Yeah,
but I agree. I think you're a grown ass adult if you can't take it and give it back. I know
grown ass adults. Some of these kids are like 18-year-old basketball players.
Literally none of. So we're talking about the pro level, to be clear. Like in high school and college and stuff. Like there's rules that you have that don't exist at the pro level. But at the pro level, every single one of them is a grown ass adult. They might not be like in their 30s or something like that, but like they can get married, they can drink, they can do anything else that adults can do. They can be drafted. Like they're men, they're adults.
Control your emotions. Push them down like everyone else.
To the one caveat I would have, because I guess I like this rule. To Thomas's point about a person on the other side of the field not being able to taunt, I would exclude. I would say that you're not allowed to taunt if you make a nice play, but you're still down by like 10 or more. Because I fucking hate that.
Yeah.
Agreed. That is tough. It's just a tough look when someone does that. Like, I don't really care if they taunt when they do some shit like that. But like, just know that we're embarrassed for you.
Yeah, it's just like, what are you doing? Like, I mean, I get it, like you're hype, but like, also you shouldn't be.
Yeah. All right. On to my number 4. I think I might get some pushback on this fourth one.
Is it water?
I think it does not involve water, but I know why you would think that because there's a lot of that happening today. I think you should allow noise for golf from both fans and anyone, so other golfers. I know it's the quote-unquote gentleman's game, but I don't give a fuck. I think the rules about noise and interrupting play are stupid, and I think every other sport has to deal with noise, except for probably like tennis. But I don't watch tennis, so I don't give a fuck about tennis. So I don't even know what their rules are about noise. The USGA has to say about noise and distraction. I actually looked this up. As it relates to not even just fans, it says players should always show consideration for other players on the course and should not disturb their play by moving, talking, or making any unnecessary noise. Get the fuck over yourselves. Like, you have people all over all the time doing shit while you're playing golf, when you're practicing. Every other athlete has to deal with this for their sport. People are going to move. People are going to make noise. People are going to cheer. And when they have, what's it called? The one in Arizona.
Waste management.
Waste management. Place is hype as fuck. People are like drinking beers on the course and shit like that. They're having a great time. Everyone seems to love it. But the rest of the time, it's old white man's game and no one's allowed to talk or have fun. And I disagree with that.
I'm torn on this because I don't mind when people talk or move in my backswing, but I suck at golf. And I agree. I think it's like you said, other sports have to deal with it, other athletes have to deal with it. You should be able to deal with it. But there's also something to be said about the tranquility of the game, and at a tournament, like when it's dead silent and then someone hits an amazing shot, like the energy that comes from that, you can be 3 holes away and you're like, holy shit, something happened over there. So I can't say I completely disagree, because I do like the atmosphere at the Ryder Cup and the Waste Management. They're fun, they're exciting, they're more like other sports. So I get where you're coming from.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree that like it shouldn't be like a rule that like you can't make any noise because that makes you soft. Like in basketball, like the whole, like when you're at the free throw line, like everyone is like yelling, trying to distract you. But I don't think the game becomes more enjoyable if you're like, all right, let me turn on some golf and someone's trying to take their swing and just everyone in the crowd is like, boo. Like, does that raise your level of enjoyment? Does that make you want to watch golf more? Yes. Just having people yell at all times?
Very much makes me want to watch golf more. If people at the course seem like they're having fun.
You're giving too much credit to people who go and watch golf. They're not creative enough to be entertaining.
I also don't like if noise is an accepted part of it, and there's also like probably something that goes with this. I think if you were to do this, and I'll just say it ahead of time, you would probably have to move fans back a little bit, which could negatively impact the game, because having somebody like 12 feet away from you screaming in your ear is, I mean, like, I guess NBA players kind of have to deal with that to an extent with like courtside fans, but like most sports don't really deal with people that close.
But also,
if you constant noise,
if you create that scenario where they have to be farther away, you limit the number of courses you can hold events at, because you need big enough courses where you can have fans far enough away from the players.
Less golf courses. I like where your head's at.
No, you're less golf courses. No, you're talking bigger golf courses.
Damn it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he's just saying less courses that could host like professional.
That could host a tournament.
But I defer to Thomas on all golf course matters. But I actually also agree with his commentary here. You kind of took the words out of my mouth, that I'm a little bit torn, because I see the value in like being loud in sports, and other sports have to deal with it. But yeah, that was a good word, tranquility of the game. Like, I feel like I turn on golf to relax. Especially like as a TV spectator, not as like a in-person spectator. I just feel like it's nice. It's like, Griffin, I'm with you on the wasted land use of golf courses, but at the same time, part of the beauty of the game is like the fact that it's done like in nature and through trees and birds and everything. So yeah,
I'm team whatever keeps Thomas employed. So like I'm team golf courses existing as long as Tom works on a golf course, and the second he does it, I'm starting fires. Probably shouldn't release this episode now, but it's fine. I've said worse.
I do find it ridiculous that the announcers whisper all the time.
Yeah, that's a little like unnecessary. Like, you could just talk at a normal volume. You don't have to be screaming, but you could just talk.
As someone who is an incredibly casual golf fan, in that I mostly watch it only because I gamble on it sometimes.
I was going to say.
The number one thing that golf does for me, as somebody that didn't grow up playing or watching golf, is put me to sleep. And I think that is a sentiment that you see from a lot of people that are not golf fans. Like, there's a lot of fans of other sports. You don't have to be a basketball fan or a football fan or a baseball fan, less so baseball, but you don't have to be a fan of certain sports to throw on a game and have a good time watching it. I think by and large, the vast majority of people that are watching and enjoying golf are hardcore golf fans. There's not a ton of like casual fans out there. I think part of it is the crowd environment.
I don't know if I'd say it would change that, but I do think you're right in that aspect, that people who watch golf are golf fans. You don't get people tuning in because there's nothing else on. That's not a thing. But like Andrew said, like, he watches golf to relax. Like, even though golf is an incredibly frustrating sport that makes plenty of white dudes angry, they play it to relax.
Yeah.
So but again, the gentleman's game, it's a long tradition of what it is. It's not saying that it shouldn't change, but that's why it hasn't changed.
Elliot, you got anything you want to fire off about this one, or?
I just wanted to point out that like even big golf fans, like they also fall asleep watching golf.
Yeah.
Like, how many times have you seen your grandpa with the golf channel on and they are fast asleep? So
Well, my grandpa's
want
dead,
to make sure
so-
that
Yeah, mine too. Thanks, Elliot.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thanks, Elliot.
we all have
Thanks for bringing up that wound.
dead grandfathers. So
Yeah,
wow.
wow. Guess you're not gonna be back on the
Yeah, no,
pod.
that's actually a pretty good point.
That our grandparents are dead.
I meant the sleeping part.
Oh, yeah, eternally, really. Okay, on to my number 2 pick, and this is gonna piss Thomas off so much. I told Elliot not to do this, but I did this within the past few minutes. But honestly, genuinely, I heard
I'm
something that
vetoing
one
this
of you,
pick.
I heard something that one of you said, and it did make me want to genuinely change my pick, because the idea behind my pick, I think, can be expanded upon. Initially, my number 2 pick was expanding out the 3-point line so that it's an equal distance all the way across the court. So wherever you are behind the arc, it's the same distance. So it'll change the spacing of the game. 3-point shooters aren't going to just rush to the corners every single time. Whatever.
So
That's not my
it's not an arc. It's just a line.
No, it's still an arc.
No,
it's
it's
just
a
equal arc.
semicircle.
It's a semicircle instead of
Oh, okay.
a rectangle with a half U.
Also, why do you always change your number 2 pick and
I
never
don't
like?
know.
like,
I don't
it's
know.
always your
It's
number two.
always my number 2.
No, sorry.
But this is still, looking through my list, still like the thing that I want second most. Instead of that, because I've decided that I don't need that so badly, I want a moving basketball hoop. I think that changes the game on a much more fundamental level. I think scores are probably going to be a little bit lower. We're going to have to deal with that. But just imagine somebody trying to throw like a half-court outlet pass for like an alley-oop. Like, think of the LeBron James D Wade years where Wade would throw it and LeBron would be like rushing down there to get it. He's not looking. He goes up. Basket's not there anymore. That's a funny play. We're having a good time. Crowd is roaring. And then also, like, there's times where like really bad shooters are gonna luck into some fucking crazy trick shots because like maybe Ben Simmons starts shooting threes. He takes one from deep. He's not anywhere near the hoop. The hoop's underneath the ball now. Ben Simmons just hit a half-court 3. The Sixers, go to some, I don't know, the finals maybe. That makes me like it less. Regardless, I think it'd be a lot of fun.
Does the hoop
you should have stuck with your
just
original
move?
one.
Does the hoop just move along
is
the
it-
baseline?
I think it's moving laterally. Yeah. So I think
How fast?
I think smart teams would probably adjust to it, but dumb teams would be awful.
Is it a constant speed?
I don't think so.
Oh,
I think
it's
if it's a
like-
constant
better for
speed,
you.
there's too much prediction going on. Yeah,
Wait,
The track that the
Andrew and I
baskets
were
are on?
Andrew and I were in San Francisco a week or two ago, and we played like one of the basketball games, and they had 4 different options, and one of them was constant back and forth. One of them was moving back every time you hit it. One of them was standard, and one of them was it would move a random distance over a period of time. So it's
Who won?
moving, but it's not moving at like a standard speed. The non-standard speed is the one that I think would be the best.
Who won?
I think we went 2-2 against each other.
Yeah, we played 4 times and we never had a rubber match.
Yeah. Well, the line was crazy. Like, it was insane.
So no one would ever be able to shoot the ball. Like like the only way to score is a dunk if the
Why?
basket's moving.
People are going off the glass all the time at this point. And also, like, you just try and predict the movement of it. It's not moving
So it was
like
random.
zippity doo all over the place, but it's moving.
Yeah, if the speed is random, then there's no way to predict it. But
Figure it out.
I mean,
It's a
that-
numbers game.
like I have no problem
I
with
think-
introducing a little bit of luck into the game, but that to me is just too much luck. So you're saying it moves in 2 dimensions on the baseline, or
I think it
3
moves on the
dimensions
baseline.
all over?
I think in 3 dimensions is too much.
Yeah, I was like, what kind of like robots are you gonna have the backboard and rims on? I mean, like they have them in
No.
factories and stuff.
No, you
but-
just put it on.
Yeah, that would-
It's just a track.
Yeah,
It's
no,
just
you
a
definitely
track.
do that. Yeah.
But I'm gonna make your pick better. Instead of just
Okay.
a track along the baseline, there's one track, both baskets on it, 360 around the court. So sometimes you're going down the court and you're like, oh no, where's my basket? It's behind me now.
Wait. So you're still playing full court basketball, but you might get
Yeah.
the half court and be like, oh shit, I've got to turn around and go back. And then by the time you get there, I don't know if that makes my pick better or if it means that we're going to have a lot of like 6-4 basketball games.
I think with your pick, you're gonna have a lot of 6-4 basketball games.
I don't think I will. I think you're going to see a lot of people working in the mid range again because they're getting close enough where the ball's not in the air
Does
for
the
a while.
3-point line stay the same though? Like if I'm staying in the corner, can I just wait until the
We're
basket
done with
gets
the
really
3-point
close to
line
me?
thing. I'm not
So it's right next to you.
Yeah, like if it's coming towards
No,
me.
but a 3-point arc. So if you're in the corner and the basket gets you, it's just a layup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
That's
still
worth
get
it.
3 points.
Okay.
Why would you be penalized for the
A
basket
3-point
going
layup.
elsewhere?
Stop acting like we're the insane ones for asking questions.
I mean,
I veto this.
I heard
veto. I
Thomas's
pass.
list.
I pass.
You've been
I heard
vetoed.
Thomas's list earlier. I don't think I'm the insane one. I think I have one insane pick to his 4+.
I think your insane pick like trumps all of his combined.
Well, looking forward to another win.
And this was your number 2. This wasn't
is
like your
my number
number
2.
5. Like, let me throw out something crazy for the graphics.
Yeah, no, I feel strongly about this after discovering it about 15
To be
minutes
fair,
ago.
you did want taunting, so here we are.
Yes, I do. I do, in fact, want taunting. Let's move on to number 1. And this one, I just feel from the deepest part of my heart. And you guys might be able to figure out what it is. I think Andrew, if he thought about this for a minute, would probably be able to figure it out. Fuck the DH. I think the DH should be eliminated. I think it's fucking stupid. Get rid of it. I know it's like, oh, the tradition of the league where one day. I think the DH is bullshit. I think everyone should have to play baseball. I am going to get a lot of hate on this one of everyone that's a fan of an AL team, but I imagine a lot of the NL teams will probably agree with me. So I'm going to send it to everybody in the NL.
I mean, I think this is a fine rule, but it's already like a rule in half of baseball. I don't think this is a good number 1 pick for let's make a
it's
change.
a rule
to
in
sport.
half of pro baseball, but it's not in like college ball or anything like that.
I don't know. Baseball. Like this isn't like a big sweeping like, all right guys, here's my number 1 rule how I can make this sport better. Let's do this tiny little thing that we already have to do anyway.
Millions of people would be infuriated by this rule.
Yeah,
It's
so
a pretty
you're
sweeping change.
making people angry and not really solving anything. Again,
I am solving the existence of the stupidest part of baseball, which is somebody that just hits and does nothing else, and pitchers being allowed to be bad at half the game.
Yeah. I'm not going to be
You
the
guys
guy
might
to push back on this because
Disconnected from you, just whatever.
I'm not going to be the guy to push back on this because you're going to get way more pushback than from me, like specifically from Jared.
Yeah.
But the pushback you will get is, I think you said something about like the it's more watchable if people play offense and defense. The proponents of the DH are going to say the complete opposite, that it's more watchable when more balls are in play and pitchers can't hit for shit. I'm not disagreeing with you. I personally like the fact that the AL and the NL have different rules. I like the way it is, but I understand your gripe.
My counter argument to that before we get to Thomas and Elliott is if pitchers are expected to hit for their entire careers, they will get better at pitching. They're not worse athletes than the rest of these other guys. Most pitchers most pitchers growing up are the best athletes on whatever team they're on growing up. It's why they've been pitchers for the majority of their life. They're
no, but I mean, like the
hardest
NL
position.
already makes pitchers fat, right? Like, and
but they don't
crappy
practice
guys.
hitting because majority of them are not staying in for an entire game in 98% of games. And most of them are practicing not a whole lot more than bunting because they do not want to get injured for their starts. But if their expectation is no matter what they've got to hit, that's a guaranteed 3 outs for every single team across the league. They're not going to accept that. They're going to encourage these guys to hit.
Real quick, are you saying no pinch hitters for relief pitchers? You're saying relief pitchers have to hit as well?
I think relief pitchers should hit, but I mean, you're going to have pinch hitters for essentially every position. You know, there's times where you've got to put like a pinch runner in for somebody. There's times where a guy gets hurt on the field. Like you can't eliminate the pinch hitter position as a whole because it's designed to substitute them for the entire game. But once you do that, that guy's out. Like he's not in the game anymore. So that's the loss that you're taking there. If you put a pinch hitter in for a starting hitter and it's the third inning, good luck with the rest of the game.
I don't particularly care. But if I had to, I'd be against you on this. I get what you're saying, that if you're a professional baseball player, you should be doing both sides of it. But at the same time, I do agree with Andrew. Like I find it interesting that the leagues had the AL and NL have a little different rules, and it does create a strategy to it. But I you're wrong. So
In summary, fuck you.
In summary, that's where we're at. All right. Hey.
I mean, I love it I love the idea that your pitchers are like decent hitters. But I think that they're not incentivized enough to ever get good at hitting. Like it's a good pitcher is gonna like be a starter. They're not gonna like cut a good pitcher because he bats like whatever a bad batting thing, 10%.
Guaranteed 3 outs a game is a lot of outs. But yeah, maybe not. I don't know. I think if you change it, it probably does change the way the game and I think certain guys that are probably not as great at pitching probably end up becoming more valuable to their teams. Like you might not have a sub-3 ERA, but if you can get on base as often as like a standard like first baseman or something like that, you just became one of the most highly paid guys in the game. I don't know. Let's go through
hold on. Maybe I'm wrong in my notes, but I thought you only gave 4.
I was on the same page as you, but I wasn't going to tell him. I was going to.
Oh shit! I did miss one. You're right. That's my bad. Moving my thing around earlier really fucked me over. Let's circle back to.
Would you skip number 3?
Oh yeah, I skipped number 3. Yeah, because it's where I ended up putting the moving basketball one. Number 3, we're circling back. I'm not gonna win this week. I don't think draws should exist. This is a big like fuck a lot of things about sports list. I think draws are stupid. I think you win or you lose, and you play until you win or you lose, and that's it. Yeah, I think if you spend a couple hours doing something and there's no like determination at the end of it, you should spend more time doing it.
Having no ties as your number 1 seems kind of weak, but
it can be. I don't care.
As a number 3 pick, I would respect it, but as a number 1 pick,
yeah.
All right, so tell me how much you respect it as a number 3 pick. Really, really lay it on.
I mean, have you ever watched like a 12-hour cricket game? Because
Watch cricket. Does cricket have draws? I don't even know if that's true.
No, like cricket games can go on indefinitely, and like
I think that's a
days.
problem with cricket more than it's a
No,
problem with
look
their
at soccer.
draws. What's up? Soccer, much like hockey or any other.
Like,
sport that has
are you okay with like
boxing? Would
having at
eventually
some
have-
point switching it up?
switching what up?
Like in soccer where it goes to penalty kicks or 2v1s, as it will soon go to.
I'm
Like,
not saying
is that what
they
you want?
shouldn't. I'm not saying they should get rid of anything that has like a determination on their result of the game. I'm just saying you should not be able to finish on a result that is essentially no result, unless it's like boxing and it's like no contest because somebody fell out of the ring or something like that.
or
There
they
should
tag
be a
someone
result.
in. And,
How many sports can end in a tie? Like not that many, right?
I mean, right now, yeah, it's only
Anything with judging can end in a tie. Soccer
football,
can end in a tie.
soccer.
Football can,
Football.
but like in the playoffs, they just say this actually matters, so there's not a tie. Like
Yeah.
Sure,
they-
but in the
when it
regular season, it
matters-
can end in a tie.
this
when
is
they
fine.
Need a winner, there's no tie.
It's
Yeah,
not
I
specific
don't
enough
care.
of a pick.
I'm not passionate either way, really. Like ties are
Probably your worst
crappy,
number
but
1.
It's a
Yeah.
good thing it's not my
You need
number
to-
1. It's my number like negative something.
drop this down 2 places and we'll talk.
All
All
right,
right,
number
Andrew.
3 it is.
Or I guess you could give your recap. if you really
Yeah, I'll give my recap before we move on to Andrew. Number 5, I think you should encourage taunting. Number 4, noise for golf. Number 3, draws should be eliminated. Number 2, expanding the 3-point line, do moving baskets. And number 1, fuck the DH.
All right.
Andrew, all you, my friend.
All me. Got to wake up here.
Oh damn!
This is a long one.
It is,
but
it is a
that's
long
good. That's good. We got a lot to say about sports. We're four sporty dudes.
We're sports guys and we're food guys, and that's basically what this pod has become.
So two of my picks are like what? Oh,
I was saying it's like the Lonely Island song about sports.
Oh yeah, we like sports and we don't care who knows. Two of my picks are a little gimmicky, sort of like Thomas's list, and then three of mine are actual more serious rule proposal changes. Okay, number 5 is football, NFL football. Okay, there needs to be more options on conversions or tries, so that you can either kick an extra point or 2-point conversion. Not good enough. There should be a touchdown after touchdown, TAT. So it's going to be hard to get. You got to start on your own 5-yard line. So you got to run a 95-yard play. The other reason I love this is that it makes the defensive 1-point safety more realistic to happen. In which case a team could finish with 1 point in the game, because you would get the defense would get 1 point for causing a safety on.
So you want scoregami to happen?
I absolutely want scoregami to happen, but that's not the primary motive here. The primary motive is I want a 12-point lead to not be safe in football, and I want that to be a 1-score game.
So, I thought about my overtime open field showdown rule being for 2-point conversions instead, and like being for a different amount. So I don't dislike it. Having it be from your own 5 seems a little far-fetched, but I get you got to make it worth it.
Yeah,
I like it.
I thought about including a field goal after a touchdown, like a 3-point try, just having some ridiculously long field goal to get it, and then the touchdown after touchdown being at your own 5. But I'll just stick with just the touchdown after touchdown option.
I don't think the Broncos would ever lose a game if you could do field goal after touchdown.
Yeah, that's true.
True. I do like the idea of having
10
more options.
or 9 points every single touchdown.
I like your idea, but I think from your own 5-yard line, like that's not gonna that's not gonna be fun to watch. I'd rather have you start at like your own 30, but play with you get 6 players and they get the full 10 or something like where you play down players.
What's the touchback distance? The 20-yard line?
25 now.
Well, 25.
Touchback is 20.
It's 20 on punts, 25 on the kickoff.
Yeah, so maybe you do 20 or 25.
But once you get that far, you can't throw that far, so you have to do like weird lateral things, and
unless you get one of the punt throwers that you guys have. I don't know.
You get a thrower.
No, or if it was like NFL blitz where someone could just bomb it 110 yards. But yeah, no, I mean, I did seriously go back and forth on how far into your own territory this play would start from, and I settled on way far back, just because I'm like, this is a touchdown after touchdown. It shouldn't be even reasonably very possible to get, but it should be an option. In the rule book,
did you put way far back? That's the distance they've got to start from?
I considered at your own 1-yard line and just do it 99, but
and you only have, just to be clear, you only have one play to get this off. You don't have a whole.
Yeah, it's the try.
Yeah, you only do this when you're down 10 points.
I would watch the shit out of this. This would be, I mean, again, just like earlier, red zone would be hype as fuck all the time.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be guaranteed that you would have to run the lateral play, but work on it.
I think what you would see is teams would still decide to do an onside kick versus this.
I think Deshaun Jackson would be the most valuable wide receiver again in football. Just have him fucking take off and be 80 yards downfield.
Yeah, so Tyreek Hill.
I think there's some potential here. I like the idea of having more than 1 or 2, but I think jumping up to an additional 6 and going all the way back to the 5 is such a fringe case. It's just gonna happen once a season.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah. No,
and it'll take 5 years before anyone ever actually converts it.
Agreed,
Here's
but the
Andrew
hope is always there.
Yeah.
Andrew probably wants this one outside of scoregami because he's like, if any team can pull this off, it's a team with Pat Mahomes under quarterback. Like it's the Chiefs with their wide receiving core and their quarterback. He's like, yeah, we'd never lose a game. We'd get all those wins back.
Are they playing the Bills?
Fresh
good.
hurt.
All good. But yeah, no, honestly, I mentioned it before. The main reason I want this is because I want the defensive 1-point safety to come into play in football.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Number 4 looks to solve a similar problem that I have with baseball. I want, if you have the bases loaded, an 8-run lead to not be safe. Okay, so what do we got to do here? We got to find a way to double the value of home runs. We're not doing this automatically. What we're going to do, I call it the gong. We're going to have a giant gong somewhere in the outfield of every ballpark. If you hit it, it makes the home run worth double.
Twice as much.
So the gong is about, I don't know, 10 feet in diameter, and it's in a different location in each ballpark. And if you hit it, it makes a deafeningly loud sound, like a frighteningly loud sound, and the crowd goes nuts, crazy wild. And yeah, the home
or
run
you
is
give
worth,
them all like tinnitus.
yeah, probably, but the it's worth.
It's
double.
Is it in the like stands?
It's beyond the outfield wall somewhere.
Right, but somewhere in the stands.
You're losing
like,
seats. You're losing
Not
seats.
necessarily. I mean, a lot of ballparks have like open areas with no seat. I mean, yeah, in some ballparks you might have to take out a few seats, but
Can you,
in
Like
others,
I'm pretty sure like Diamondback Stadium has like a pool area.
right?
you can,
people
you
don't
can
use
put it
because
wherever
it's
you
just,
want.
like,
Yeah, in Nats Park in center field, there's just a patch of grass there. Yeah.
Who decides where it goes?
The team. It's got to be like their ground rule double kind of thing, like based on how they build their walls.
Yeah, I would say the team, and maybe it
Like the Red
affects who they
Sox and the
who they
fucking Boston.
draft because they.
Are
if
you
they-
are you allowed to move it during the season, or once it's in, that's where it is for the season?
Part of the thing, I feel.
I struggled on this. I'm gonna say leave it in place every season, and honestly, probably permanently, just because you're building the seats and you're building the whole stadium. So like,
Nah, you
it
can,
needs a place to go.
So is this is for any home run, not just grand slams? You were just making the point that you could overcome
Right.
an 8-run lead, right?
Yeah, it just doubles the home run total.
It doubles the number of runs scored on that play.
Yes, that's what I mean. Yes.
So like if you have one person on, it gets you 4 points.
4 runs.
Right.
point.
Correct.
Yes.
Correct. Yeah, a 2-run
get 1
homer
point
would
per
become
run.
a 4-run
When
homer.
someone runs, you get
I'm
1
gonna
point.
And you write it
fucking
in the
slam
scorebook
it.
as GHR, gong home run.
Yeah, obviously that was implied. I think we all understand that.
Yeah.
is it
We're
the
not stupid.
same size gong for every stadium too?
Yeah. Like I said, it's about 10 feet in diameter.
You've thought about this. Do you have a diagram?
I don't have a
They have
diagram. Do
diagrams.
you really need a diagram? It's a
I
fucking circle.
know.
Yeah, I
I'd
would like
one.
a circle.
I would
want
like
it
one
be
drawn to scale.
Yeah, it should say 10 feet.
I know. I've asked a lot of questions. Like I agree with this idea, but I don't.
Oh, I think this is
he led you
great.
astray.
I appreciate you
this is
faking
much,
the
much-
enthusiasm.
This is much better than the NFL one, because it's more like, this is more like a fantasy. You're like, oh, what if I hit the gong thing? Like the NFL one is more like, you're like, okay, guys, let's try this, even though it's not going to happen. This is more just like occasionally you hit the gong, and it's just like game changing and fun. Like
Yeah.
I feel like this isn't something where you're like, okay, guys, we're down 8, we've got the bases loaded, like maybe we can like aim and hit the gong. This is like a thing that just sometimes happens and is exciting.
I
Right.
mean,
You could be a
it is
player
something
and never have
you
the
could-
opportunity.
10 feet is not tiny. Like there's probably not that many home run hitters in baseball that are going to be like actually genuinely able to aim at it. But there's some guys that are going to be at least in the range of it.
And imagine during the home run derby, it'll be hype. They would aim for it during the home run derby.
So the home run derby accounts for double two?
I don't know. I would have to think about how it would affect the home run derby. My inclination would say it's worth like 10 during the home
I
run
mean, this
derby.
seems like something that the home run derby could implement tomorrow, just
Right.
because they change the home run
can
derby
just do
every
it for
5 years.
shits.
But even
I think they
like in
should just
a
do
derby
that.
where you're getting like a soft ball, like I don't think like they can't aim in a 10-foot area, can they?
Yes.
in a home run.
That
Like,
distance, I don't know.
No, but I think they
They're
can aim.
they're
They can aim in
definitely gonna
a.
pull towards a certain part of the stadium. They're not gonna be able to hit like
Yeah.
guaranteed 10 foot, but like
right,
look at a guy
like
like Joey Gallo, like he's hitting all of his home runs to the exact same part of a stadium or something like that.
right, but that's where he hit. Like he's not aiming there, right? That's just where his home run swing
Right,
goes.
but if you're the team that has Joey Gallo on your team and
I
the
see what you're
season, you
saying.
know you've
Yeah,
got Gallo, that's where you're putting it because you've got, let's say he's hitting 40 home runs in a season, 10 of those hit. You've really
An
just
extra-
upped his offensive production. I like it, Andrew. I think it's
yeah,
dumb as
I
shit.
think
I
Here's
think
my
it's
proposal.
fucking insane, but I like it.
I think my proposal is it's a 30-foot area. The gong is maybe 5 feet, and it's on wheels, and you have two guys that are technically on your team. So they gotta try to hit the ball.
Wait.
So
the
are
people
these
moving,
like
the
guys
people
from, like,
moving
the
the
bullpen?
gong are on offense. They're like on the same team as the batter.
yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, gotcha. So they're trying to.
They should be
get
relief
the ball
pitchers,
in.
though.
Is that
So
their full
the
rule? Or do
batter
they also
just
have
has
to hit?
it. It depends which league they're in.
In the AL, they have to hit.
I would like this way better than the current DH. If you've got two guys that are just out there like silent movie protagonists just running around with like a basket essentially, oh, it'd be way better.
No, but it's still a gong. I like the gong idea.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
I mean the gong.
sports
we're in
needs
on the gong.
more gong.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
The Astros
Sports
love it.
need more gong.
All right.
You've got one good pick so far.
Okay, so my top three, like I said, are less gimmicky. These are more actual rule changes. Okay, Griffin touched on number 3. You kind of what you were going to have on your list is essentially what my pick is. Basically, the NBA has a problem right now. Daryl Morey fucked the game up by using analytics too much, and now all teams do is shoot threes, which is hard to solve because you could add a 4-point shot, you could get rid of the 3-point line, but that's not going to happen. Corner threes are the problem because essentially like guys just camp there and it's the shortest area where it still counts for 3. So basically you just have a 3-point line, like Griffin said, same distance all the way across, but because it's too far, like from the corner, that's not enough distance to have to stand behind the 3-point line. So it tapers off so that corner shots are not worth 3. This is the best way I could think to solve the problem. I also thought
you don't want corner threes to be possible.
Right, they're not possible because the line
So it's like a
connects.
wider.
The line connects with out of bounds before.
What was your solution to this, Griffin? Even though it's not your turn and it wasn't on your list, I'm curious.
My solution is a fairly highly recommended solution. Just have it expand the court out by about a foot on each side, or I guess a foot in 8 inches, 9 inches, something like that. And
So that way it could go all the way around.
Line be equidistant the entire way around.
Right, Thomas has it.
I made a diagram.
Thank you for the
Thomas
diagram.
made, a series of
No,
penises.
but that he's got the essential idea exactly. Like you don't expand the court. All you do is you just
Yeah.
have
I
the
understood what
3-point
you're
line.
saying. I was just curious.
Yeah,
what
mine is you do have to fundamentally change the court, which is why teams will never do it because that's getting rid of a row of courtside seats.
I feel like then you're just eliminating. Like no one will ever shoot from there because that's a hard shot. That's a really bad shot for 2 points. So now you're making it like the only time like you eliminate any of the spacing. Like you've created like a funnel situation.
But
where
doesn't
everyone
that
has
make
to
more
go.
spacing if teams are not like inherently defending that portion of the court? You're going to end up having a lot of guys like try and go off the glass from there. I don't know.
I think you create. I think Elliott's right. I think you essentially eliminate the use of those corners at all.
I disagree. I think it
Other
helps
than
with
to get out of
spacing
the way.
because you would think that like guys would still just keep jacking up threes, but because the 3-point line is only accessible on part of the court, like you can play defense up close on these threes now. Like you don't have to worry about someone killing you from the corner with a 3-point. They might kill you with a 2, but that's better than killing you with a 3. So I just feel like defense will get tighter on the, up near the 3-point line, and it'll space the game out a little bit more and encourage like an older style of basketball that is like posting up and actually, making shots from mid range.
Using different words for spacing. Like basically the defense can eliminate can like just not play defense on the corners. Like if an offensive player goes over to the corner, I'm just not going to defend them because that's just a really bad shot for them to take.
Yeah, I mean, spacing right now essentially means 3 out, where you've got 3 guys behind the arc at any given time.
Yeah.
I think spacing in Andrew's world and what I'm taking it to mean is that it's just fundamentally changing the way that guys pick their spots on the court.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that being better, maybe. I would try. But I don't think it solves the issue. I think it creates like a weird situation that is not better.
We should buy a
Yeah,
basketball league.
I don't think it will solve the issue the way you want it to. And as probably the best basketball player here, I'd say definitely. Yeah, I don't know. I don't see it solving the issue you're trying to solve. But I see it eliminating the corner as a plausible playing area.
I like where your head's at. I like the thought behind it. I don't know.
Yeah, you tried. You tried. You get like
You tried.
I mean, clearly I'm on the same page as you in terms of something needs to be done in the way the game is played because it's just become way too by the numbers.
Yeah, it's a tough problem to solve, and I was reading about like certain ways that people have like proposed to solve it. One was interesting, like same idea, like eliminate as many corner threes by having like enforcing a 3-second, not just in the paint but also in the corners. That seems like a lot of work for the refs, and also I just didn't like it, so I didn't go with that. But yeah, it's a tough problem to solve.
So another thing you can do is just change it to 3s and 4s.
Because then the difference between the 2
the difference becomes smaller.
Yeah, yeah.
I actually have seen people suggest that as well.
Yeah, interesting. Would
I
free
mean,
throws still be worth 1?
I don't know.
I also
so.
saw
Then a free throw, like you could have. I mean,
maybe
like
you
at that
shoot
point
free
you're just
free throws.
invalidating free throws, really, and fouling.
Yeah, I don't know, but I know that if you change it to like the difference between like 3 and 4 makes it so that then suddenly like mid-range shots are useful again.
Right.
Yeah.
I also saw a proposal to like speed up basketball by when you go to the free throw line, you're just shooting 1 basket no matter what, but it's worth however many you were shooting for. So if you got fouled on a 3, you shoot 1 basket that's worth 3.
I wouldn't be surprised if the G League tries that out at some point because that's where they try out.
I think that's
changes.
stupid.
I think Adam Silver's going to try something like that.
I don't know if I like that one.
I think that's stupid.
Anyways, okay. Let's move on to a real issue with the MLB. And that is
Astros.
No, that is that we need more balls in play. So
I knew someone would say it.
Lots of ways to solve this, and what I ended up going with, I don't think Griffin's gonna like it. Eliminate the shifts essentially. So you got to have 2 infielders on each side of second base. I don't hate it. I think this is it doesn't really, like I said, it doesn't completely solve anything, but it does make it a little bit better. So yeah, just third baseman, shortstop got to be on the left field side, second baseman, first baseman got to be on the right field side. That's it.
So that's essentially my opinion on what the shift should be. I think your infielders can be on either, like you can have 2 and 2 and they can shift as far as they want on those sides, but you can't have guys weighted heavily to one side. That's my opinion on the shift.
See, you had me at more balls in play.
Yeah,
you lost me when you described it as something as something other than multiple balls on the same play.
Oh yeah, no, I'm sorry if that
where the confusion would come from there.
So,
yeah,
I wanted something where like when you hit the ball, 2 balls come out.
Yeah,
rather
that was a poor choice of words, and that's from Mario Baseball, so I agree with that.
Yeah.
Elliot, I'm convinced you just don't understand how like physical objects work. Like
okay,
2 balls come out of 1 ball.
Yeah, you hit it and 2 balls go flying out.
Someone could invent that.
This is a rule. I'm not saying practicality. This is the rule. This is what happens.
That's not a rule,
you
though.
Have 2 batters.
That's
and
a
2
weird
pitchers.
creation. It's not a rule.
It is a rule.
It's
2 balls.
It's an equipment change.
All right, let's let Andrew explain his.
No, I mean
over-answering.
that's pretty much all
Yeah,
it
some-
all that needs explaining.
It's just
Again,
no shit.
there was a few different things that I considered. There's proposals also to like create baseballs with more drag so that less home runs get hit to keep them in play more. And you would do that by like using a smoother, like a different type of leather or like a less round baseball. But the problem is then that might allow pitchers to increase their spin rotation, which would lead to more strikeouts. So it's like if you're solving the home run issue, then you're doing the opposite of helping the strikeout issue. So what I came up with was essentially don't worry about that and just eliminate the shift. It's minor, but it does something.
I'm going to go in the other direction with that from you. I think that the number one fix to bringing small ball back is just deaden the ball a little bit. Strikeouts go down and home runs go down. I don't think they should go back to the dead ball era where guys were like struggling to hit like 12 homers a year. But obviously, if you can juice the ball the way they have in recent years, you could probably deaden it a little bit where everyone is not playing 3 true outcome baseball where they're striking out, they're walking, or they're hitting a homer. But I like your shift idea too.
I have a question because again, I don't know baseball. Could you could you just make the field bigger so that it's harder to get a home run, but you're more likely to get like a double or a triple?
Well, some parks are
yeah, but
park dimensions have to
is that better?
Range.
Yeah, that would definitely result in more balls landing in the outfield, which is definitely in play. I mean, yeah, that's one way to do it. I think the shift, eliminating the shift is a more practical way to do it because you don't have to get 30
Tear down
new ballparks.
Every stadium.
You don't have to build $1 billion stadiums again, all on taxpayer dimes.
But I mean, that's not the most ridiculous proposal that we've talked about tonight. So you have a point there.
You're right. No draws.
To the point of expanding the ballpark, I don't know if that's really. I mean, you're still going to have a lot of guys hitting a lot of like deep fly balls. I don't know if it's going to like really fundamentally change like base running or how many guys are getting on base or anything like that. It might just change defensive positioning, and you're going to have a lot of outs. That would otherwise.
And the other problem
would change it because
guys will hit less fly balls if they don't think they're going to get out. Like
it's more ground to cover for the fielders.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it's more ground to cover, and also I actually don't like that idea because then there'll be less plays at the plate, like for balls that are hit way deep. Like the outfielders are never going to make those throws. It's already borderline. Like only the fielders with the biggest arms can really make a throw to the plate.
They could make the throw if before they throw they jump on the trampoline, so they're throwing it from a higher vantage point.
Now you're back. Yes.
I still think just two
he's
balls.
Back, boys. He's back.
Two balls.
I'm with Elliott. I'm with Elliott.
2 baseballs.
So let's say hypothetically,
2 batters, 2 pitchers.
It explodes into 2 balls. Whatever.
Yeah. 2 balls of different sizes to take Thomas's bowling thing.
Do you have to make the out with the other ball, or what happens if you catch both balls? I'm just so confused.
It's not an out if you only
catch 2 balls in a game like baseball.
It's pretty self-explanatory, Griffin.
It's really truly not.
If you don't get it, it's just.
I don't think he gets it.
I don't get it.
Catch both.
Okay.
All right.
Let's move on. My number one is an NFL issue, and I agree with Elliott that there's an issue with kicking, but not all kicking. Punting is fine. And yes, Griffin probably has seen this video. I'm straight up stealing the idea from John Boyce of SB Nation. My light just turned off.
I know where it's going.
Hold on.
No, you're setting the mood. It's fine.
I thought that was like a dramatic.
This one that he did.
Yeah, I thought you started off on purpose.
And now he's having a conversation with someone that's not us.
How rude.
How rude.
Sorry. Hold on. God damn it.
You're fine. We can see you.
No, we can see you. You're fine.
All right. Okay. So yeah. All right. Where was I? Okay. The NFL. The issue's not with punting. It's with kickoffs. So instead of having kickoffs after you score, you get the ball on your own 35-yard line where a kickoff would normally take place, and you have possession of the ball, but it's 4th down and 15 yards to go. So most of the time you would end up punting. But if you need like a situation where normally you do an onside kick, you would just go for the 4th and 15, and it's doable to get. It's more doable than an onside kick is. So I really like this solution. Basically, the problem is that kickoffs result in a lot of injuries, and they're just boring plays. Like nothing ever happens, and even if you have a good kick return, it doesn't even like they've done the math, and it doesn't even like help you score more points as much as you think it would. Like even if you run the ball out to the 40-yard line, that doesn't even help you as much as you think if you just started at the 25. So this solves that problem, and I really like this rule change.
So this is actually not what I thought you were going to say. I thought you were going to say something else that stemmed from an NBA thread years ago that became a thing for football too. But I'll let them respond before I get into that.
I don't love it. I do think the kickoff is broken. But I don't think after scoring a touchdown, you should get the chance to keep the ball other than something like I think onside kick should be adjusted to make it not easier, but give you more opportunities. But I don't think you should your offense should straight up get a chance to keep the ball after scoring.
Yeah, I think you run into like a risky situation where a team's like offense is just so good that they just always have the ball. Like the other team never gets possession of the ball. Like,
yeah, but like, then get better at defense.
Yeah.
And I mean, I say this as a Chiefs fan, so we'd probably.
Yeah, you guys would just go for it every time.
Yeah, we go for it every time, but also other teams would go for it on us every time and get it. So it would make for an interesting game.
I mean, you would get to the point where, let's say your team gets a touchdown, goes for it, gets it, gets a touchdown, goes for it, gets it. You get to the point where you don't want to go for it because your guys have been on the field for 35 minutes and they're fucking dead.
Yeah, no,
so I see that as
there's definitely
some strategy involved.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And that's why I don't think it's going to be as much of an issue as you think it will be in terms of people just deciding to keep the ball. I think 90.
Yeah, I mean, fourth and 15 is hard.
95%. And again, it's on your own 35-yard line. So you're giving the other team the ball back in your own territory if you don't get it. And yeah, I mean, like I think 95% of the time you're just punting it away. And punt returns are much more exciting than kick returns.
Yeah. It's a good rule. You eliminated a third of the kicks, so you're like a third as good as mine.
Yeah, exactly. So you still got field goals, still got everything else, but yeah.
Is there still kickoff at the beginning of halves? Like to start the game and start the second half?
That's a good question. I'm going to say no. I'm going to say might as well just get rid of all kickoffs. So the team who won the coin toss and elected to have the ball just starts at their own 25.
Or you could replace kickoffs with throw-offs. That's like another idea, maybe.
We can. I mean,
I've heard that idea before.
That was the beauty of tonight is that we all came up with rules, some of which were better than others. We can use this list of 20 rules to mix and match and create new sports basically.
Better.
I don't. The idea has grown on me, but I still don't love it. And Griffin's literally shaking because he wants to speak so badly.
No, I really need to pee, but I think it's grown on you in the 2 minutes that he's been talking about it.
Well, yeah, imagine how much more it'll grow on you. Okay, I'll give my recap because Griffin's going to piss himself. And number 5 is for the NFL. Give another option on conversions, and that option is to start with the ball on your own 5-yard line, and if you score, you get 6 points. You get a touchdown after touchdown. Number 4 is the gong in MLB. Place it somewhere behind the outfield wall in your ballpark, and if someone hits it, it makes the home run worth double the runs. Number 3, these are complicated. I don't know how I'm gonna write this in a graphic, but number 3,
just make a diagram.
The
3-point line is the same distance all the way around, so it basically tapers off to out of bounds before the corners. Number 2, eliminate the shift. Just require 2 infielders on each side of second base. And number 1, no kickoffs. Instead, you get the ball on your own 35-yard line with 4th and 15 after scoring.
These are very complicated.
Very complicated.
Yeah.
But hey, good list.
All 3 of you, your best pick was your number 5s. Like your list got worse.
Thanks.
Yours was too.
Yours,
Listen.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, at least we never picked water on a
I
midnight
also
snack
agree with
list.
that.
Yeah.
People like
You don't
it.
know how the results of that
No,
are
they
going to turn
don't.
out.
Some
Well,
people
water
do.
could be the
Can
thing that
I,
wins it for.
before we sign off, the one that I thought Andrew was going to bring up, and this stemmed initially from an RNBA thread years ago, where somebody asked who would be a better defender, Andre Robertson or Isaiah Thomas with a gun. And then it turned into an idea of people missing at the free throw line. Like, what if there was a 1 in 50,000 chance that a ref just shoots you if you miss at the free throw line? How would that affect people's free throw percentages? And then obviously it moved over to other sports where people were like, if you miss a field goal, you've got like a 1 in 4 chance of just being shot in the head or something like that. That's where I thought he was going with it. And I would like that rule to replace all of my rules, where you just add guns to sports that don't have guns and just make everyone play very dangerously. But yeah, that's what I thought he was gonna
Okay,
say.
who's in charge of the social media? Make sure you put Griffin's thing. Replace all rules in sports with guns.
And no draws as his number one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just guns and no draws.
guns and no draw. You can't draw the gun, but you better have it. Anything else before we close for the day?
I have 2 honorable mentions I'd like to mention.
Sure. We're already going for 2 hours, so get them.
The free throw, someone should be able to stand in front of you. They can't move, but they should be able to stand in front of you and distract you. And I believe, maybe designate one hitter on each, so like a new kind of DH, and they can use something other than a bat if they want in baseball.
Like a Donkey Kong boxing glove?
You're a big fan of you're a big fan of replacing the equipment. Like
I feel like Thomas would create the greatest Mario sports games.
Yeah,
he would never be allowed to work for a professional sports league. They'd be like, "You're an insane person. Please leave our offices. Our refs have guns. Get out." All right. Well, another
Thanks
episode
for
of the
having
books, Elliott. Yeah, thank you for being here. Hopefully, it was everything you thought it would be and more. This is, I think, our longest episode ever. So I'm going to blame you at least partially for that.
Talked a lot, I guess.
Yeah,
I'm excited to see the prediction for this one.
Yeah, the prediction that you're going to make on Twitter. Don't forget, if you are listening or are watching on YouTube, make sure you hit the like button, the follow button, or the subscribe button, whichever makes more sense for whatever platform you're on. Share this episode with your friends. If you're not currently following us on Twitter, our Twitter is @listnight, and on Instagram, we're @list.night. And that's it. We will be back for another episode sometime in the next week or two. And if you have any episode suggestions, hit us up on Twitter.
Sorry, Mom.